everyone. My name is Lori Bradner with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are broadcasting live and in the clear from the terminal building at Sebring Regional Airport. We are here today celebrating the 14th annual Sports Aviation Expo, where we are celebrating flying into the future. And I am here today with one of my favorite people, one of my co-hosts. John, welcome. It is so great to have you here.
Well, thank you, Lori. It's great to be here, and I know we're having a good time here on the set. We're having a good time out on the flight line, watching everyone walk around, enjoying all the vendors that are here, watching airplanes fly. It is a gorgeous January 26th summer sort of winter day, if you want to call it. If you're from New York, it's summertime. If you're from here, it's just a beautiful winter time at Sebring Airport.
It is, and I think as we mentioned earlier when we spoke, that the winds, I think, have calmed down a little bit, which will be great for flying. But we're here today because I know that we have a fantastic group of people coming in. You had a fantastic group yesterday.
I can't wait to meet the guys today, and we've got some guests that we're just going to entertain you as well as educate you, and that's our theme for today, isn't it?
It is, and I know I'm very, very excited because I think our first guest is one of my favorite of all time, and that's Eugene Nock. And you told me, and I've heard via the grapevine, that he brought the Batcopter and the Batmobile are here.
Can you believe it? The Batmobile and the real Batcopter.
I know.
Yeah.
I get so excited. Who doesn't? And that, you know what? It's wonderful because it appeals to children from 2 to 92 to 102, and that's fabulous. But would you tell us a little bit, John? I know that you've got the list with you. Tell us who else we're going to see today, because I guarantee that our studio audience and our audiences out there watching live, they are not going to want to miss this.
Well, you bet, Lori. And of course, Eugene Nock with the Batcopter. And, just between us,
yes,
we want to get you a ride in that. So we're going to try really hard to talk to Eugene and get you in there. But George, his son, flying, and I literally mean flying, the Batmobile. He's going to be doing an act with his dad, and it's a lot of fun to see, a family affair. And as families come in and they wander in and are walking around the flight line, they're going to be able to see us on the set here in the lobby of the terminal building at Sebring Airport. And we're going to be talking to James Wiebe. He's one of the manufacturers of some of the light sport aviation airplanes that are building. People are buying and building here. So we'll get to discuss, what's it like to be a manufacturer of somebody who's going to sell the kit that you could build yourself. Can you believe it? People actually get to say, hey, I built an airplane and flew it. So that's a big theme here for folks. Additionally, awesome. Steve McCaughey.
Now, he's with the Seaplane
Pilot Association.
Yes, a fabulous, and he is definitely a pilot's pilot. And I understand that he likes the stranger birds. He is known for those, from the bush flying to military.
Great stories,
yes,
and different kinds of things. He gets to see and be around all kinds of different machines and seaplane and amphibian style airplanes and aircraft. So it's really fun to hear his stories about his adventures out in the woods and from the huge Mars bombers that you see,
yes,
fighting fires and things like that in the Northwest, to being up in Maine, and especially down here where he's from, with just straight floats and all the adventures that people are having internationally. Sometimes they'll go to the Bahamas, and we love talking with Steve. He's always a good time to talk with. And Nate Delaney's going to be with us from Cirrus Sales. So
yes,
when people are coming from Light Sport and the Sport Aviation Expo here in Sebring, you're going to want to, maybe move up in the world. And so the Cirrus platform and family of aircraft, just fabulous.
John, I know that you have an extensive aviation background, but my understanding is that he is actually premiering here at this 14th annual Sport Aviation Expo. Is it the SR-22T that he has here?
There are a series of airplanes that have, it's the history of the evolution, as it were, okay. And so, yes, that's definitely one of the newest models. And so, yes, when you get into the Cirrus line, you can go from simple to, highly complex and extremely high performance. And so we're going to talk to him about all those different airplanes. And it's exciting to have them here at the Sport Aviation Expo.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And, of course, Phil Lockwood, and, this is home base for Phil.
Yes, yes. And I know that you know Phil because you were telling me he really, truly is one of the pioneers of
Yes.
the ultralights.
Yes.
And also you said, I believe when we were talking, had started hang gliding. Is that where you knew him, John?
Well,
What great stories.
You know, it just comes from when we were all very young in the 70s watching.
Oh, that was only a few years
yeah,
ago.
it's true. But, back in the 70s, the scene for the hang gliders and ultralights started to come out, and people were building and buying things. And Phil saw that there was a market for supplying us with the parts and the equipment. And then Phil got into the engine side of things and got away from the glider part and immediately went into ultralights and into the engines and has a fantastic store as well as his engine shop where he trains people all over the world to become certified aviation engine technicians with the Rotax platform. So it's been great to be, kind of watching Phil. That's really where I come in.
Yep.
Phil would not know me if he saw me walking across the street, but he then would when we talk, he's like, oh yeah, of course.
What's important is we know him, and one
We
of
know
the
him.
things I must tell you a little bit. Again, I'm so excited just to talk with him and meet him.
You bet.
Is I was gifted and truly honored with a flight in an air cam. And I understand he's got a history with that air cam. That air cam is really his design.
It is.
And it is an extraordinary. I have never had a better experience flying. It was just, there are no words to describe it.
Well, and let me tell you, the reason that he invented that airplane was they were commissioned by the National Geographic magazine to go into remote jungles of Africa and South America.
It was the Congo, wasn't it?
To do film footage.
Okay.
And, Phil wanted to create an aircraft that was extremely safe to fly and had redundant systems. So, that whole platform of the two engines up front, what's interesting is that you can actually get out of the jungle on one engine. And so that was the reason for that design. It's got a great story behind it. And like you said, Phil's a great guy to talk with. We're excited to have him. Awesome. We're going to hear about that and all the future plans that he's got and what he's up to.
That's awesome.
So we also have one of the themes here is training and flight training. And so we have got Leading Edge Flight School. Brant Howell's going to join us and discuss what it's like to go from what we'll call zero to hero. And,
I love it.
There's nothing like learning to fly and soloing for your first time.
I remember.
Right?
I remember it.
Well,
That's a day I will never forget.
Right?
Absolutely. At KLAL. I'll never forget that day.
Wow, Lakeland.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Who was your flight instructor?
Actually, it was Rebecca Gowdy. And they are now both Chris Gohausen and Rebecca. It took two. I don't know if that's good or bad,
no, that's
John,
fine.
but
it's perspective.
But I have to tell you, they are now, they have gone on, they've got their hours they needed, and they are both flying with National Air Carrier.
Very good.
And so very, very exciting. But, and that's near and dear to our hearts, John, really with the education, the safety, because of Florida Aviation Network and all that we do. So I cannot wait to hear. And, of course, we're celebrating, as you said, flying into the future.
Definitely. And then we've got Beverly Glarner here with the Expo. She's the project manager, and we want to acknowledge, all of the work that's going on behind the scenes. As we go through the day talking with all these folks, you and I are, like you said, we're going to be talking about that sort of the foundation of training and safety and education that we are fond of together. And so you'll hear those themes together. We're going to meet some great, interesting people that some of them we know really well. Some of them we're going to learn a lot together as we view this on our program today.
Well, and John, I have to tell you, you educated me. This is actually my first time here in Sebring. Usually I'm with Florida Aviation Network at Sun and Fun, and I'll be there again this year, and
Definitely.
That's very exciting.
Every year.
But I have never seen anything like this. But you educated me because I understand it was not always Sebring Regional Airport. It was called Hendricks Field.
Hendricks.
And you were out yesterday with a pink flamingo, I believe, whose name is Hendricks.
Well, we're going to talk to Beverly a little bit about
that.
Yeah, so Hendricks is their theme this year, and the flamingo being, basically ubiquitous with Florida. They sort of personified it, and Hendricks, the flamingo, is the mascot for the show. So we'll hear from Beverly about that. I know that they're having a lot of fun. I know I've taken pictures with him, and we've interviewed him. I've personally flown him in the business jet that I fly, and so we've taken him all around the United States, and he's met people. We put him in the simulator. We've just had a lot of fun with Hendrix. So it's a little bit of a goofy, fun thing to have, and Hendrix, was a B-17 training field here, and it was named after that pilot. So Hendrix Field, Sebring Regional Airport, with the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018.
Wow, John, you are just a wealth of information, and I absolutely can't wait to speak with Beverly, because I know that she's really the project manager, and we have been doing this expo. I know that the airport took it over, but they are in the 14th year, if my math is correct.
And I've been watching this as I went to the very first one, and it has just grown to be an extraordinary show. I know the community of Sebring embraces this. We've got thousands of people. This is an extremely fun family event. If you've got young kids, and I like how you said, if you're from 2 to 92, you're still going to come around and feel like a young kid again. Yep. We're going to basically wrap this up and get to our next guest, because it's your and my friend Eugene Knock. I see him standing by in the wings.
I think I got word, because as you said, it was a family affair, and I'm so excited because I've had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Knock, and he's one of my favorites. But what I understand is that his son, and I've not had the pleasure to meet him, is here.
George Knock.
Last year, George, I'm so excited to meet him. It's going to be fabulous. And do you know, last year I did get to meet his family, and I have to tell you, the Knocks have some of the most darling cherubs with the most beautiful voices. And I know yesterday we do have something for everyone here. You talked about the pilot, the musicians. We know that there's drones here. So truly, we have something for everyone, and it looks like it is a gorgeous day. We're watching the crowds come in, John, along with their mascots. We've heard a couple of dogs.
Yep, we're watching them as we cross. What you don't see, what we're looking at, is a lot of fun. People are really bringing it with their friends, their family, and everybody's having a good time. That's for sure. So we want you to join us and enjoy the programming as we meet with all these great, fantastic people with all this great, fantastic flying on a fabulous Florida day.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, John, it is such an honor and a pleasure to share the set with you.
You bet. We're having fun, aren't we?
We are having a great time.
I hope you guys can see that, because we're going to have a lot of fun with you as well. And so definitely, thanks.
We want to bring you along with the adventures. And
That's
as we're actually going to be going out in the field, so we're going to take some live footage of the drones. And it's a mix of the drones with the virtual reality. I cannot believe that. I'm so excited to see that. And of course, as we mentioned before, we've got ultralight sport aircraft, we've got the Batcopter, we've got the Batmobile, we've got drone racing.
That's right.
This is the first of 8.
Yep, it's multi-rotor Grand Prix. Can you believe it? We literally have a Grand Prix. That is a major it's a national level race here that starts off the World Series of Grand Prix races in the drone series of racing. So, talk about our theme, flying into the future. Yep. It's happening here at Sebring right now.
We definitely are. And we do not want you to miss us and miss this opportunity. And this is Lori and John. We're with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are live and in the clear. We're in the terminal building at Sebring Regional Airport, and we are here celebrating Flying into the Future, the 14th annual U.S. Sport Aviation Expo 2018. We promise you don't want to miss it.